I guess we can start already. I think I've given them 5 minutes grace period to come in. Right. Well, I do see a majority of you here, so which is good. I know some of your exams are over, like Larissa was just sharing that her exams are over, but her parents still insisted that she comes. Okay. Um, then just take it positively. Oh, Sherman is here as well. Right. Oh, Natalie said that as well. Okay, so Natalie private messaged me and said that actually she's also not supposed to be here because your exams are over, is it, Natalie? No? Oh, then why is that so? Ah, okay, really? Ah, okay, you might just want to elaborate on that. They made a mistake, is it? Are you not supposed to be here? Oh, okay, I see. All right. Okay, we'll get started. Like I said, today's focus is going to be on personal recount. Partly because we just want you to have a backup plan, right? Just in case the topic that you're gonna the topics that are provided for you to choose from are more difficult in terms of expository. So if you realize that, oh, this expository topic is really just not suitable for me, I don't think I can come up with very good arguments or good points to support, then you might want to think of well, okay, so Natalie did personal recount. That means your exams are over as well, huh? So then you realize, okay, maybe personal recount might be an option. Okay. So that's why I think we will still go through today on personal recount a little bit on how your teachers actually evaluate. Maybe let me just share with you my experience as an MOE teacher then. So when we mark essays, you must be thinking, how do teachers mark the essay? They have a rubrics to follow. They will follow the one that the Singapore Examinations Board provide, as well as your GCO level. There are band descriptors. So what happened is that, okay, maybe I want to show you the band descriptors, okay? So you know what your teacher look at when they mark. It's very important to understand how your teachers mark. If you understand how your teachers mark, you know what they want, you will be able to deliver what they want to them, and eventually you'll probably be able to score higher as well. Okay, so let me just share with you the band descriptors. Where is it? This one. Okay, you can see my screen, right? Yeah. So this document is actually from the Singapore Examination Board. It is also used by your GCO level markers. Okay, so in school, we try to emulate this as much as possible because we want to prepare you ultimately for the major exam, right? So when your teachers mark, they will look at the band descriptors. This one is for situational writing. So if you notice, band 5, of course, is the highest band, okay? And a lot of times you'll realize that most students will not be able to achieve band 5. That means to get 9 or 10 out of 10 for your task fulfillment, um, it's quite difficult because let me explain why. Because how your teachers mark is that you have to fulfill all three bulleted points. You need to make sure that all the three bulleted points you have attained. If you have not attained even one, okay, you will be automatically drop to the next band. Okay, so a lot of students, they probably will get 7, 8, the highest. That means 7, 8 means that they have to fulfill all these three bulleted points they must achieve. Then they can get a 7 or an 8. The moment one of them did not get, like for example, okay, for example, the purpose, audience, and context have not been clearly addressed. but it has been just addressed, not very clearly addressed. So naturally, even if you have attained 2 out of 3 of these criteria under band 4, you will not be put under band 4 because there's one that is in band 3. So that means you will naturally be a 6 points, 6 marks upon 10, 6 upon 10. Okay, because you will be a high band 3. But because you did not attain all the 3 bullet points for band 4, you cannot be placed in band 4. Okay, so same thing for band 5. Let's say if you have not attained 3 of this, if you have attained 3 of this, then of course you're either a 9 or 10 out of 10. But the moment one of them you don't attain, you just get a high band 4, which is 8 upon 10. Okay, so that's how your teachers actually mark based on the band descriptors. So of course the band descriptors, the descriptions are very important as well, right? Because you need to know in this case, like for example, this one, all the points are addressed, it must be developed in detail, purpose, audience, context must be fully addressed, right? So all these in the ideas consistently supported. So if you want to get a high band, you need to achieve all these for task fulfillment. But this is only for SIT writing. Okay, task fulfillment for SIT writing. I think task fulfillment, more or less, students definitely will be able to attain at least a band 3. Okay, unless you really write out of point, but most of the time it shouldn't be the case. Now, in terms of language, okay, in terms of language, it's 20 marks for your SIT writing. So same thing, if you want to achieve a band 5, which is 17 to 20, you need to achieve all 3 criteria. That means to say you need to be able to use cohesive, coherent presentation of ideas. You need to have effective use. It's not just using ambitious vocabulary only. You need to make sure that you use it effectively as well and in the right context, in the right grammar structures as well. Okay. And then, of course, punctuation, spelling, and grammar. So you want to get a high band, you need to make sure all these 3 has been achieved. Otherwise, you'll naturally drop to the next band and the next band. That's why you realize a lot of times when it comes to composition, right? Students upon 30, they hardly get 25 and above. Okay, I'm sure in your own classroom is the same. Your teachers hardly award you 25 upon 30 because the moment you don't meet all the 3 criteria, you will naturally be dropped to the next band. And that's how your GCE level markers mark as well. Okay, so we're trying to just mark as closely as how they mark, so just to better prepare our students also for the final GCE level exam. Okay, for English. Right? Any questions for the band descriptor so far? You need to know how your teachers mark. And this is usually how they mark. Another thing that I want to share is so when I was a teacher then, I think when we mark, right, let's say for example, one level there are 5 classes, okay? 5 express classes lah, because we don't do moderation for different levels. I think right now, do you guys still have Express, NE, and NT? Or are you doing subject-based banding already? Can I just have some to share? Because when I left MOE school 2 years ago, still the same, is it? NE, NT, and Express, is it? Still have streaming lah. Okay. Differentiation. I know some schools are starting their subject-based banding. So they mix the NA, NT, and Express students together in one class. Yeah. Oh, the sec one is okay, interesting. Thank you for sharing because I left MOE school 2 years ago. When I was still there, I know this subject-based banding is coming up. They actually prepared teachers, sent us for training and all. Yeah, so they put it as G1, G2, G3. I see. Not so obvious, trying to do this. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, so when I was there, right, they were actually preparing the teachers for an educational reform. It's different because in terms of classroom management, right, in terms of learning, teaching and learning, we do need to make a lot of changes. Okay, so from what I understand is that subject-based banding is at that point in time I was thinking, okay, it's coming, and how are we gonna try to adapt to this new system per se? Yeah. So back to marking. So that time when I was teaching, then we actually had 5 express classes, one level. So Sec 2, for example, there are 5 express classes. Jin Hao say your school only has express. Okay, yeah, some schools are like that. Some schools only have a particular stream, right? Some schools are already starting on subject-based banding because I still have a lot of friends who are teachers, who are existing teachers at MOE. Some of us left, we pursue other career, or we just went into private institutions. Um, but I still have quite a lot number of friends who are still teaching, so they were sharing with me as well. How is it like? So in terms of marking, let's say if we have 5 express classes, okay, and there are maybe 3 teachers teaching that level, so myself and 2 other teachers. So what we do is that if there are 5 classes, there are probably going to be about maybe 100 over 200 students. So we actually divide out the workload, okay, for, let's say, for seat writing. So each teacher will probably mark about 50 to 60 scripts, okay? So of course, when we do moderation, right, we don't just check all the 100 over scripts again, right? We don't. Okay, so for example, me and teacher A and B, we all marked the same level, Sec 2 express scripts, right? All the same topic and everything. So what happened is that as a teacher, I will choose maybe 3 students whom I think is higher band, then high ability, mid ability, and low ability in terms of the situational writing task. So my 3 high ability will be compared with the other 2 teachers' high ability students. Then after that, we will discuss, right? We'll sit down and discuss. So that's how the moderation process is like. We definitely do not have the time to read through all the 150 scripts again to check. Okay, so what we do is that we will choose three of each, right? High, low, and medium ability students. Then we will discuss like, okay, why did I award this student a high band? Why is this student a high ability student in terms of writing? Okay, I have my reasons, and then the other teachers will listen to my reasons and all. And then we will compare my high ability and her high ability. And then we decide, oh, um, so how come my high ability I give like maybe 24 marks for this piece, but seems like yours is even better, but you only gave 22. Okay, so that's when we moderate. We'll be like, oh, I think you are marking a bit too lenient, or you're marking a bit too strict. I think these students, if you have more high ability students, these students they deserve 1 or 2 more marks. Yeah. So, and then after that, of course, we'll also compare our mid ability, somewhere ranging from 16 to 20 marks. High ability are usually 20 and above lah. Okay. Then low ability will be students whom we fail lah. Why do you fail this student? Does he deserve a fail? Right? Does he or she deserve a fail? So that's how the marking process is like. Of course, a lot of times students might argue, hey, how come I get these marks? It's very hard for you to understand as a student. How come I get 40? How come I get 16 marks? I thought I write quite well. Um, there is a rubrics, there is a demand descriptors, and at the same time, there are moderation going on as well. Okay. So more or less the marks that you get are really what you are supposedly deserving of the marks basically, but there might be some slight discrepancy, but not much. Sometimes if it's a lenient teacher, if you're lucky enough to get a lenient teacher, you might get just 1 extra mark for your writing. Okay, but the discrepancy will not be huge because, like I said, there are things that they put in place, like following a rubrics, like moderation with your teacher. And if let's say 2 teachers were to argue about a certain score, then they will probably bring it up to the HOD. The HOD will decide. Okay, if I say no, I think we should give 24, then the other teacher say no, I think I should give 22. You are too lenient, and then the other teacher say, oh, you are too strict, right? And then there is this debate going on. Then they will bring it up to the HOD, and HOD will decide which is the best score to give the student. Okay, so that's the marking process, and I'm sharing this because I think it's important to know what your teachers are thinking when they mark. Okay, you need to make sure you actually get all these bulletin points achieved. Then you can get high score for your writing. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to personal recount. Okay, there. Okay. So I think this one I don't need to go through in detail.